March 17th, 2024, 3:42 a.m. I signed my last death certificate. Patient was 72 years old, massive heart attack, dead before the ambulance arrived. And as I filled out that form, cause of death, time of death, attending physician, I felt something I haven't felt in 48 years of practicing medicine. Relief, not because he died, but because I was done watching people kill themselves. My name is Dr. James Morrison. I'm 96 years old. I practiced internal medicine for 48 years before I retired in 2024. And in those 48 years, I watched 3,847 patients die. I didn't just watch them die, I warned them. I told them exactly what would happen if they didn't change. I showed them their test results. I begged some of them. Most of them didn't listen. And most of them are gone now. I'm not telling you this story to brag. I'm telling you because I need you to understand something. I've spent more time in hospital rooms watching people take their last breath than almost anyone alive today. And I can tell you exactly what separates the patients who made it to 90, 95, even 100 from the ones who dropped dead at 68, 72, 75. It wasn't genetics. It wasn't luck. It wasn't money or access to health care. It was 5 habits. 5 simple everyday behaviors that people over 60 develop, usually without even realizing it, that act like poison. Slow poison. The kind that takes 5, 10, 15 years to kill you. And here's what's going to make you angry when I tell you what these habits are. They're so obvious, so preventable, so stupid in hindsight. But right now, today, this morning, you're probably doing at least 2 of them. Before we dive in, I need to know something. Where are you watching this from? Drop your city and country in the comments, because what I'm about to share works for everyone, regardless of where you live. And one more thing. I'm going to tell you about 5 patients, 5 real people I treated. Their names are changed, but their stories are true. One of them is still alive at 94. 4 of them are dead. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why. Let me tell you about the first deadly habit. Let me tell you about Harold. Harold's story. Harold came to see me in 1998. He was 62 years old, recently retired from a career in accounting. Good guy, smart, took care of himself, or so he thought. Every morning, Harold would wake up at 6 a.m. and exercise for 45 minutes. Treadmill, weights, stretching. He was proud of this routine, told me about it at every appointment. "Doc, I'm doing everything right," he'd say. "I exercise every day." And he was right. His morning routine was excellent. But then I asked him, "Harold, what do you do after your workout?" "Well," he said, "I shower, eat breakfast, and then I read the newspaper. Then I do some paperwork for my investments. Then I watch some TV, read a book. Normal retired guy stuff." "How many hours are you sitting, Harold?" He thought about it. "I don't know. Maybe 9, 10 hours. I looked at Harold and I said, "You're going to have a stroke within 10 years, and your morning exercise isn't going to save you." He laughed. Thought I was joking. Harold died in 2009. He was 73 years old. Massive stroke. He was sitting in his favorite chair, watching the evening news when it happened. What I learned. In 1985, I started keeping detailed notes on my patients' daily routines. Not just their exercise habits, their sitting habits. Accountants, lawyers, executives, retirees who spent their days reading, watching TV, doing puzzles. I noticed a pattern that the medical research wouldn't confirm for another 20 years. People who sat more than 8 hours per day aged faster, internally. Their blood work looked different, higher inflammation markers, worse cholesterol ratios, elevated blood sugar, even when they weren't eating. By 1992, I had enough data to know someone sitting 8 to 10 hours daily was aging approximately 35 to 40% faster than someone who moved throughout the day. The medical reality. Here's what happens when you sit for extended periods, especially after age 60. Your circulation collapses, blood pools in your legs, lipoprotein lipase, the enzyme that processes fat, drops by 90%. Blood flow to your brain decreases by up to 20%. Your risk of blood clots skyrockets. Your metabolism crashes. Insulin sensitivity decreases. Blood sugar rises, even fasting. Fat storage increases. Muscle tissue begins breaking down within days. Your lymphatic system stagnates. The lymphatic system has no pump, unlike your heart. It depends entirely on movement to function. When you sit, toxins accumulate in your tissues. This creates chronic inflammation throughout your body. After age 60, this process accelerates dramatically because your body has lost the resilience it had at 40. Harold's fatal mistake. Harold thought his 45-minute morning workout gave him a free pass to sit the rest of the day. It didn't. Research now shows that prolonged sitting increases death risk by 40%, even in people who exercise regularly. Your morning workout is excellent, but it doesn't erase 10 hours of stillness. The solution. I give every patient. I've done this since 1976, and I'm still doing it at 96. Set a timer for 50 minutes. When it goes off, stand up, walk to another room, do 10 bodyweight squats, stretch, walk up and down your stairs. It doesn't matter what you do, just break up the sitting. Minimum daily movement, 30 minutes of walking, can be 3 10-minute walks. Stand during phone calls, walk during TV commercials. Never sit for more than 1 hour without standing. Harold didn't do this. He's gone. The patients who did do this, many of them are still alive in their 90s. Deadly habit number 2, the sleep disaster. Now let me tell you about Dorothy. Dorothy's story. Dorothy was 68 when she first became my patient in 2003. Sharp mind, active, volunteered at the library, seemed healthy. But during her intake, I asked about sleep. "Oh, I only need about 5 hours," she said proudly. "I've been that way my whole life. I wake up at 4 a.m., can't fall back asleep, so I just get up and start my day." "How long has this been happening?" I asked. "About 10 years since menopause," she said. "But I feel fine." I ran cognitive tests on Dorothy that day. She scored well for a 68-year-old. But I made a prediction in her chart that I hoped would be wrong. Patient will show measurable cognitive decline within 5 years if sleep disorder not corrected. I was right. By 2008, Dorothy's family brought her back to see me. She was forgetting appointments, getting confused in familiar places, repeating herself, early onset dementia. Age 73. Dorothy died in 2015 at age 80. But she hadn't really been Dorothy for the last 7 years of her life. What the research shows that I saw clinically first, I cannot tell you how many patients told me they only needed 5 or 6 hours of sleep. They said it with pride, like it was a badge of honor, a sign of strength. It was a sign of brain damage in progress. Here's what happens during sleep that most people don't understand. Stage 1 and 2, light sleep. Your body temperature drops. Heart rate slows. Your body begins initial repair. Stage 3 and 4, deep sleep, critical. Growth hormone is released, repairs tissues. Immune system strengthens memories, consolidate. Your glymphatic system activates the glymphatic system. This is key. Your brain has a waste removal system called the glymphatic system. It works like a dishwasher for your brain, but it only turns on during deep sleep. During deep sleep, cerebrospinal fluid flushes through your brain, washing away toxic proteins, including beta amyloid and tau, the proteins associated with Alzheimer's disease. When you don't get enough deep sleep, these toxins accumulate night after night, year after year. I watch patients who slept poorly develop memory problems a full decade earlier than patients who slept well. The broken sleep problem. And here's something most people don't know. Broken sleep is worse than short sleep. Waking up 4 to 5 times per night, even briefly, prevents you from reaching the deep stages where restoration happens. Many of my patients didn't even know they were waking. Their spouses knew, but they didn't. Sleep apnea, the silent killer. After age 60, sleep apnea becomes incredibly common, especially in men. You stop breathing dozens, sometimes hundreds of times per night. Your brain wakes you just enough to start breathing again, but you never remember it. The result? You never reach deep sleep. Your oxygen levels drop repeatedly, damages brain and heart. Your blood pressure spikes all night long. Your risk of stroke and heart attack skyrockets. I had patients who thought they were sleeping 8 hours. They weren't. They were suffocating all night and didn't know it. What I tell every patient: if you wake up tired after 8 hours in bed, something is wrong. Get a sleep study. Get tested for sleep apnea. Fix your sleep hygiene. Your brain requires 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep to survive long term. Dorothy didn't fix her sleep. She lost her mind at 73 and died at 80. The patients who did fix their sleep, most of them are still sharp in their 90s. Deadly habit number 3, social isolation. Let me tell you about Robert. Robert's story. Robert's wife died in 2010. He was 71. They'd been married for 48 years. For the first year, family and friends checked on him constantly, brought him meals, invited him to events. But gradually, the visits became less frequent. Robert started declining invitations. "I'm fine," he'd say. "I just want to be left alone." By 2012, Robert was living in complete isolation. He'd go days without speaking to another human being. When he came in for his annual checkup in 2013, I almost didn't recognize him. He'd aged 10 years in 3. I ran his blood work. His inflammation markers were through the roof. His cortisol was chronically elevated. His immune function had collapsed. "Robert," I said, "you're dying, not from disease, from loneliness." He looked at me like I was crazy. "Doc, I'm fine. I like being alone." Robert died in 2015, age 76. Officially, it was pneumonia. But I know what really killed him: loneliness, the medical reality of isolation. This is going to sound soft. It's not. Loneliness triggers a chronic stress response in your body that is just as deadly as smoking. Here's what happens physiologically. Your stress hormones go haywire. Cortisol remains chronically elevated. This breaks down muscle tissue, suppresses immune function, increases blood sugar, damages the hippocampus, your memory center. Your inflammation goes wild. Chronic loneliness increases inflammatory markers, C-reactive protein, IL-6. Inflammation is the root cause of nearly every age-related disease. Heart disease, stroke, cancer, Alzheimer's, all linked to chronic inflammation. Your immune system weakens. Lonely people get sick more often. They recover more slowly. They're more vulnerable to infections. They die from minor illnesses that others survive. The data. I had patients who were otherwise healthy, but lived alone with no meaningful connections. They deteriorated faster than patients with serious chronic conditions who had strong social bonds. A meta-analysis of 148 studies found that social isolation increases mortality risk by 50%. That's equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes per day. It's more dangerous than obesity. It's twice as deadly as physical inactivity. The post-60 danger, after 60 isolation risk explodes. Your spouse dies. Friends start dying. You retire, lose daily workplace interaction. Mobility decreases, harder to get out. You feel like a burden, so you stop reaching out. It becomes a vicious cycle. The more isolated you become, the more depressed you get. The more depressed you get, the more you isolate. What I tell every patient: humans are not designed to be isolated. After 60, you have to fight isolation actively. Join something. Call someone. Do not let weeks pass without a real conversation, not small talk. Real conversation. Vulnerability. Connection. Robert didn't do this. He's gone at 76. The patients who maintain strong social bonds, many are still alive, thriving, in their 90s. Deadly habit number 4, the carbohydrate catastrophe. Now let me tell you about Margaret, and this one makes me angry. Margaret was 66 when I first met her in 2005. She was doing everything the medical establishment told her to do. Low-fat diet, whole grain bread, oatmeal for breakfast, orange juice, fat-free yogurt with granola. She was proud of how healthy she was eating, and she was gaining weight. Her blood sugar was climbing. Her triglycerides were through the roof. Her energy was gone. "I don't understand, Doc," she said. "I'm following all the rules. Why am I getting worse?" I looked at her food journal, and I wanted to scream. Why I was angry. For 40 years, the medical profession told people to eat low-fat, high-carbohydrate diets. We told them whole grains were healthy. We told them juice was good for them. We told them to avoid fat and eat more carbs. We were wrong. And we created a generation of seniors eating toast and jam and cereal and wondering why their blood sugar was out of control. The metabolic shift after 60. Here's what nobody tells you. Your metabolism changes dramatically after age 60. Your insulin sensitivity decreases. Your cells become resistant to insulin. It takes more insulin to move sugar into your cells. Excess sugar stays in your bloodstream longer. This damages blood vessels, nerves, kidneys, eyes. Your ability to process carbohydrates diminishes. Foods that were fine at 40 become inflammatory at 70. Your body can't handle the glucose load anymore. Carbs that used to give you energy now make you tired and foggy. What happens when you eat like Margaret? Breakfast, oatmeal with banana and orange juice. Massive blood sugar spike. Insulin surge, crash 2 hours later. Inflammation throughout your body. Fat storage, yes, even from healthy carbs. The solution. In 2005, I changed Margaret's diet completely. Out. Processed carbs, bread, pasta, rice, juice, cereal. In. Vegetables, healthy fats, protein. Within 3 months, her blood sugar normalized. She lost 18 pounds. Her energy came roaring back. Her inflammation markers dropped 40%. Margaret is 85 now, still going strong. What I changed in my own diet. I changed my diet at age 68 when I started seeing the patterns clearly. I eliminated all processed carbohydrates, bread, pasta, rice, except occasional small portions. All juice, it's just sugar water. Cereal, oatmeal, granola. I increased. Healthy fats, olive oil, avocados, fatty fish, nuts, vegetables, the foundation of every meal, high-quality protein, fish, eggs, some meat. My inflammatory markers dropped within 3 months. My energy stabilized. My mental clarity improved. I recommended the same to my patients who would listen. Many wouldn't. They trusted the old advice. Many of them are gone now. Deadly habit number 5, chronic worry. The 5th deadly habit is the most invisible, chronic worry. Why this kills. This one doesn't look like a health problem. It looks like a personality trait. Oh, that's just how I am. I'm a worrier. But constant low-level anxiety keeps your stress hormones elevated in a way that damages every system in your body. What chronic worry does physiologically: cortisol stays chronically elevated, breaks down muscle tissue, increases blood sugar, suppresses immune function, damages memory centers in your brain, accelerates cellular aging. Your sleep gets destroyed. You can't fall asleep, mind racing. You can't stay asleep, wake up worrying. You never reach deep, restorative sleep. This compounds all the other problems. Your immune system collapses. Chronic stress weakens your ability to fight infection. Wounds heal more slowly. You get sick more often. You recover more slowly. I had patients who were retired, comfortable, surrounded by family, and still spent hours every day worrying about things they couldn't control. Their bodies aged faster. Their sleep was worse. Their immune systems were compromised. Learning to let go of what you cannot control is not just good psychology. It's survival. Okay, so we've covered the 5 deadly habits that I've watched kill thousands of patients over 48 years. Sitting too much, poor sleep, social isolation, the wrong diet, chronic worry. You're probably feeling overwhelmed right now, maybe even a little scared, because you recognized yourself in at least 2 of these habits. But here's the thing. I'm not sharing this to terrify you. I'm sharing this to save you. Because in just a moment, I'm going to tell you the one story that changed how I practice medicine. The story of the patient who beat all 5 of these habits and is still alive, thriving at 94 years old. But before we get there, if you're serious about making it past 80 with your mind intact, your body functional, your independence preserved, I need you to do something. Hit that subscribe button right now, because every week we're bringing you strategies from doctors, researchers, and real seniors who are beating the statistics. Next week, I'm revealing the one supplement that 90% of my healthiest patients took daily. You don't want to miss it. Now, let me tell you about Elizabeth. Elizabeth became my patient in 1985. She was 54 years old, and everything about her was wrong. Elizabeth's starting point. When I first met Elizabeth, she was 60 pounds, overweight, pre-diabetic high blood pressure, high cholesterol, sitting 10+ hours per day at her desk job, sleeping 5 hours a night, recently divorced, living alone, eating fast food 4 to 5 times per week, stressed to the point of panic attacks. I looked at her blood work and I thought, she'll be dead by 65. But then, something extraordinary happened. The wake-up call. Elizabeth's best friend died suddenly of a heart attack at age 56. Elizabeth came into my office the next week and said, "Doc, I don't want to die like that. Tell me what to do, and I'll do it." Most patients say this. Elizabeth actually meant it. What Elizabeth changed, and how? Year 1, age 54 to 55. The sitting problem. Elizabeth couldn't quit her desk job. She needed the income. But she did change how she worked. Set a timer for 45 minutes, stood up, and walked for 5 minutes every single time. Started parking in the farthest spot at work. Took stairs instead of elevator. Her office was on the 3rd floor. Walked, and 20 minutes during lunch break. Result after 1 year. Lost 15 pounds without changing diet yet. Blood pressure dropped. Energy increased year 2, age 55 to 56. The sleep fix. Elizabeth tackled her sleep problem. Started going to bed at 9:30 p.m. instead of midnight. Removed TV from bedroom. Stopped caffeine after 2 p.m. Created a bedtime routine. Warm bath, reading, lights out by 10. Got tested for sleep apnea. She had mild apnea. Got a C. PAP machine. Result after 1 year. Sleeping 7.5 hours consistently. Mental clarity improved dramatically. Depression lifted. Year 3, age 56 to 57. The social connection. Elizabeth was lonely after her divorce. She fought it by joining a church community, attended every Sunday, volunteered at a local animal shelter twice per week, joined a hiking group, met new friends, started hosting monthly dinners for neighbors. Result after 1 year. Depression completely gone. Felt purpose for first time. In years. Made 4. Close, new friends. Year 4, age 57 to 58. The diet transformation. This was the hardest change for Elizabeth, but she did it. Eliminated all processed carbs, bread, pasta, rice, cereal. Stopped all fast food. Started cooking at home. Learned from YouTube videos. Focused on vegetables, healthy fats, protein, no sugar, no juice. Result, after 1 year, lost final 30 pounds. Blood sugar normalized, no longer pre-diabetic. Cholesterol normalized. Inflammation markers dropped 50%. Year 5, age 58 to 59. The worry management. Elizabeth was a chronic worrier. She addressed it by started daily meditation, 10 minutes each morning. Journaling, wrote down worries, then let them go. Therapy, addressed childhood trauma. Learned to say, "not my problem," when appropriate. Result after 1 year. Anxiety attacks stopped completely. Sleep improved even more. Cortisol levels normalized. Elizabeth today. Elizabeth is 94 years old now. She lives independently in her own home, walks 2 miles every morning, cooks all her own meals, volunteers at the animal shelter 3 times per week, hosts game nights with friends, takes no prescription medications except a daily vitamin D, has the blood work of a healthy 60-year-old. I saw her last month. She hugged me and said, "Thank you for scaring me 40 years ago. You saved my life." What made Elizabeth different? Elizabeth didn't change everything overnight. She changed 1 thing per year. She didn't try to be perfect. She just stayed consistent. And after 5 years of small changes, she had completely transformed her health trajectory. The lesson: Harold died at 73, didn't fix the sitting. Dorothy died at 80 with dementia, didn't fix the sleep. Robert died at 76, didn't fix the isolation. Margaret almost died, but changed her diet and is now 85. Elizabeth changed all 5 habits. She's 94 and thriving. The difference? She took action. Now let me tell you something I've never told any patient about my wife. My wife Sarah died 8 years ago. We were married for 52 years, and Sarah did not follow any of this advice. She sat constantly because her knees hurt, but she refused physical therapy. She slept poorly and refused to get tested for sleep apnea. She ate the way her mother taught her, bread and sweets and low-fat everything. She worried about our children and grandchildren every single day. I begged her to change. I showed her the research. I told her about my patients. She'd smile and say, "I'm fine, James. Stop worrying about me." Sarah died at 88. You might think 88 is a good age. It's not bad. But I watched her decline for 15 years before that. I watched her lose her mobility at 73. I watched her mind start to fog at 78. I watched her lose her independence at 82. I watched her become a shell of herself at 85. Those final years were not a gift. They were a slow diminishment. She could have had another decade of real life. Sharp, active, independent. She chose not to change. Why I'm telling you this? I'm telling you this because I don't want you to make the same mistake Sarah made. I don't want your spouse or children to watch you decline for 10 to 15 years. I don't want you to spend your 70s and 80s in doctors' offices and hospitals managing diseases that could have been prevented. I'm 96 years old. I live alone. I cook my own meals. I walk every day. I read. I call my grandchildren. I sleep 7.5 hours every night. I'm not special. I'm not lucky. I made choices, and you're making choices right now, today, this hour. So here's what you're going to do. Not someday, not next month, this week. Step 1. Pick one habit to change. First, don't try to fix everything. You'll fail. Pick the one habit that's killing you fastest. If you sit 8+ hours daily, set a timer. Stand every hour. If you sleep less than 7 hours, fix your bedtime routine this week. If you're isolated, call one friend today. Join one group this week. If you're eating processed carbs at every meal, eliminate them from breakfast this week. If you worry constantly, start 10 minutes of daily meditation today. One thing, 1 week. Step 2, track it for 30 days. Write it down every day. Did you do it? Yes or no? After 30 days, that habit becomes easier. Then add the next habit. Step 3, get accountability. Tell someone what you're changing. Your spouse, a friend, a family member, or comment below. I'm changing habit starting today. Public commitment increases success rate by 65%. Step 4, give it 1 year. Elizabeth changed one habit per year for 5 years. Give yourself the same grace. By this time next year, you'll have transformed one major habit. By year 5, you'll be unrecognizable. I've buried a lot of people in 48 years. I buried Harold at 73. He didn't fix the sitting. I buried Dorothy at 80. She didn't fix the sleep. I buried Robert at 76. He didn't fix the isolation. I buried Sarah, my wife, at 88. She didn't fix anything. But Elizabeth is still here at 94, thriving. The difference between the ones I buried and the one who's still alive? Action. Elizabeth didn't just know what to do. She did it. You're still here. You're still alive. You're still making choices. And I'm telling you, from 48 years of watching people die, that those choices matter more than you want to believe. What are you going to do about it? Here's what I need from you. First, which of these 5 deadly habits do you struggle with most? Comment below. Be honest. No judgment here. Second, if this video opened your eyes, If you recognized yourself in these stories, hit that like button right now. It helps this message reach more people who desperately need it. Third, share this with someone you love who's over 60, a parent, a spouse, a friend. This information could save their life. Subscribe to Senior Spring Vitality and turn on notifications. Every week, we're bringing you real medical insights, real patient stories, and real strategies to help you live past 80 with vitality. I'm 96 years old. I've watched 3,847 people die. Most of them didn't have to go when they did. They made choices, bad choices, repeated over years and decades. You're making choices right now. What will they be? Will you be Harold, Dorothy, Robert, Sarah? Or will you be Elizabeth, the woman who's still hiking at 94, still volunteering, still living? It's your choice. Now go set that timer. Fix that sleep. Call that friend. Change that diet. Release that worry. Your 90-year-old self is counting on you. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.